In this video, I'm going to show you how I tackled massive stumps with my 25 horsepower tractor. As you'll see, I came out here with a plan and that plan had to change and I found out I was dreaming. Stumps can be a huge hassle, so let's take a look and see how all of this happened. This awesome grapple stays on our tractor 90% of the time, but I'm going to have to take it off and I'll show you why. I couldn't be more impressed with this setup given it's a 25 horse tractor, approximately 1,900 pound loader capacity at the pins. This thing was an absolute workhorse last weekend when Bucky with the Long Way YouTube channel was here dozing the entire top of this property off for us for our new shop build. We were running out of time and we needed to get stuff out of the way, and so I made the decision to push the stumps up against the burn pile, but I think that was actually the wrong choice, because I'm looking forward to burning this brush pile as fast as possible to get it out of the way. I quickly found that a stump even this size is too much for my 25 horsepower tractor and loader to pick up. Now, I could sit and dig on this for quite a while to lighten the load, but who wants to do that? There's not too many stumps in here, but there's enough to be a problem. The reason why I don't want to burn on this with the stumps present is because ultimately the stumps are going to get thrown in the hauler, and well, if I burn on them and they get hot and stay hot, you know, that heat can stay down in that core for a long time, and that means that before I throw them down in the hauler, I'd have to wait for them to cool off, because I'm never going to get these stumps burned up entirely in a brush pile this size. That's going to be a massive pain in the neck. What we're going to tackle today is getting the stumps pulled out of the pile just so they can get out of the way of the fire. And then the ones I can manage to move and pick up and throw into the hauler, I will. Which may not be very many. As I mentioned, this grapple stays on the tractor pretty much all of the time. But this is about the maximum opening I have here. And in order to pick up those stumps and keep the weight as close to the pins, I would have to be able to grab the root ball here. This isn't big enough to grab the root ball. Not only that, we've got too much weight ahead of this point here. What that does is it severely limits my lifting capacity. I will start rolling out the stumps with the grapple on here because the grapple could come in handy picking up any brush that comes out with them. As you can tell, this is going to be an exercise of patience and operator skill, just getting these stumps pulled out of the pile. This one here, we should be able to take the backhoe and paw some dirt off, but I'm positive that I will not be able to pick it up with the grapple on there. Again, not a limitation of the grapple, it's just a limitation of what I'm asking it to do. And I think that the forks are going to be the best way to keep that load as close to the loader as possible. I'm going to be excited to get this one gone. Almost the worst part of any clearing project or tree removal is the stump, in my opinion. You have options to stump grind when appropriate. You can try to burn them out, you can dig them out, but then you still have to be able to remove them. And you know, if you've only got one, you can try pressure washing them and all of that, but that's just something that's not feasible in this circumstance. There's quite a few over here, so let's see how these come out of the pile. Well, this idiot didn't turn on the camera, but I tried tackling the largest stump we had, and it wasn't any good with the backhoe, but we're gonna try using it on a smaller stump to see if that'll work still. There's a lot more power in that backhoe. This one might be good right here, a good candidate. I want to work with the bucket kind of at full extension. I don't want to be with the arm like this. I want it to be more like this so I can scratch down. We've already shed probably 100 pounds off of it. I'm gonna see if the tractor will lift this up when I put pallet forks on it. This may be wishful thinking, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to, with the fork, this stump, it might be still too large, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to use the forks to come up maybe under this side and pick it up, drag it out. I don't know. If not, we'll try to find another stump that's a little bit smaller to see if I can pick it up. I really don't want to have to dig on every single one of these. With a set of forks, a majority of the weight is in the frame, and it's real close to the pins. Still too heavy, that means I'm gonna have to dig on that or just drag it away. Again, my end game is just to get the stumps away from the pile today, but if I can get them away and get rid of them, that's even better. It's still too much, and I have a suspicion we're probably just going to be getting the stumps away from the pile and then dealing with them later. Because I don't want to put the grapple back on right now, I'm going to move my forks closer together because the game has changed, and I'm just going to try to push them. Now, I don't want to just be pushing on one tine because I don't want to bend one, so I'm going to, again, smash them together so I can hopefully use both in conjunction with one another. See this right here? That's how you actually get this out of it. This isn't working very well either because now what I've got is I've got the fork trying to pop out the hole here. And honestly, no, I didn't bend that one. I thought I might have bent it. The grapple worked better than this did because I was able to kind of tilt and use the curl function in order to be able to move them around. This one I can just kind of stab it and push, and it's not very good. I'm gonna put the grapple back on. I'm just hammering my forks, honestly. The original premise of this video was going to be to, you know, pick up the stumps with the forks. Well, that was over optimistic to say the least. But what's happening is the stoutness of this setup and all of these teeth here allow me to pull up to a stump anywhere along this bucket and be able to grab a bite, whether I be back drag or push it. It allows me to get enough of a bite to get it to start moving. And then not only that, I can also utilize these and leverage these. Now, I've got to say this wasn't originally about the stinger. It was really about how the stinger had to come off. But Stinger Attachments has made this stout enough to where I can actually back drag using this right here and not worry too much about tweaking it. Well, I guess we'll find out if I have to worry about tweaking it, because that's what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now is focus on getting the rest of these stumps pulled out just enough so we can burn on it and not get the stumps hot and char them, because again, the goal is I'm going to have to dig on them and ultimately throw them down the hauler. Times like this, I'm really happy I don't have a manual transmission tractor. I can just go forward and back. I'm ecstatic with what I chose to purchase in this Coyote tractor. Guys, I am not super careful with it. I try not to get stupid with it. I'm using it hard, and I think I'm using it just like you would too. I originally came out here with the bright idea that I would just go ahead and be able to possibly pick up some of these stumps with just my forks. I even started off the whole video thinking that, you know, if I got all that weight next to the pins that my tractor would be able to handle it, and I was absolutely incorrect. That's all that's to it. There's just way too much mass here for my tractor to be able to handle that. Now, of course, a skid steer would have no problem moving this if it was like a 75 or 95 horsepower machine. But the good news is we're supposed to get torrential rain tonight and tomorrow, which should soak the entire area. I didn't want to light this on fire and then have the embers go up and start my property or some neighbor's property on fire. We don't generally have a significant wildfire risk here, and that's with all of the leaves all around us. I still don't want to risk that, and so I feel really good about this, especially once it is saturated and soaked. As soon as the rain lets up, I need to light this on fire. If it were going to start raining soon, I'd probably try to light this fire right at the very beginning of the rain event, but I think it's just going to be better off fighting with getting this going after the fact, so that way if I can get it going and it actually takes off, we don't have to worry about it at all. Man, I've got to say, I'm really impressed with this machine here. I've got the larger capacity loader. I know I operate this not in the best manner, according to many of the comments that I've had in the past, but so far everything is held up very nicely here. This grapple proved to be, again, really beneficial. The design of this is the most multi-purpose grapple I have ever used. Some grapple designs are a one-trick pony, and that's not the case with this. I can move logs, I can screen dirt and rocks. Since a majority of my soil is these larger rocks, it's kind of like spitting in the wind. But again, I can move logs, I can move brush, I can do all of that. It's not quite a root rake grapple, it's definitely not a log grapple, it's something in between, and I love it. I cannot imagine trying to get all of this done without this machine. And if you're wondering if a 25 horsepower tractor is enough, this is just an example of what you can do. Of course, this right here gives you more options, especially with moving stumps. That's going to come in super handy, removing a lot of this material off of the root balls here. I need to get this done because I need to finish dirt work here so I can go ahead and put my deposits down for construction and buildings and concrete and all of that. So if you're new to the channel, we are building a 60 by 40 shop up here. We're building a garage down there. All of the extra material here is going to be pushed down to there. We're building up our area. We're making our family's dreams come true on our rural Oklahoma property. Thank you for watching the Okie Woodsman. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.